There's a Steam sale going on. Make sure to buy all of our games. Oh.
What'd you do? You unplugged something. Hi, welcome to the latest developer video from BattleGoat Studios. We're happy to be sharing some of the progress we've made lately. Despite the isolation that's ongoing, our team has been continuing to work remotely and make progress. We have 2 projects on the go right now. Supreme Ruler Next Generation, we still have not got a lot of details to share. A couple months ago, the studio decided we will be making another Supreme Ruler game, but a lot of the team's focus right now is more on Galactic Ruler, that's the project that is front of mind for us. Especially this summer, the size of the team has been increased. We have a number of modelers who are working on spaceships and land units and terrain and stuff like that. Galactic Ruler development has also gotten us lately working on main menus and the different UI stuff. And just today we were doing a multiplayer test, making sure that changes we made to the engine haven't adversely affected the multiplayer code. Because for any of the developers out there, you'll know that all your code ends up being intertwined. You can have modular pieces to it, but it still is going to interact. And George, I thought you might want to talk about the 64-bit and stuff.
Yeah, so with the development of the new engine we're using with Galactic Ruler, which will then also give us a new engine for Next Generation, we've got a couple of really exciting things going on. We had talked a little bit before about the improvement of graphics, and so we switched the engine to DirectX 11. And the other thing that we've now done, and in fact the engine is now fully operational with, is a switch to 64-bit. So we've switched over to a 64-bit EXE. That gives us certainly the ability to use a lot more memory, the ability to optimize in new ways, and really open up some areas that we weren't able to take advantage of with the 32-bit engine we've had with Supreme Ruler in the past. And it looks like from the early tests, we are even getting some performance improvements that could actually be pretty significant once we optimize the engine.
But don't quote us on that.
But don't quote us on that.
Yeah, no. Other things that we've been able to do is the expansion of our teams allowed us to refine some of the tools that we're using in-house, which inevitably become the basis for the modding tools that we release back to the users. That files such as the terrain file for defining movement penalties and how it uses the 3D models have been moved into a tool for editing. There was another one that we had done. Now I'm drawing a blank on it. But more tools are coming, that we are definitely considering how we can help the modding community and how we can improve our development pipelines as we go through it. And another thing that became a decision towards Next Generation, doesn't affect Galactic Ruler as much, I think. A limitation we always had with Supreme Ruler was the number of regions. And it almost worked out fine. The world almost has a small enough number of countries that we had a limit of 255 regions in a map. Unfortunately, the world, when you really start breaking it down, some people were hoping to see maps that got into about 300 unique regions, and that was simply a limitation we couldn't surpass. Some of the work that George and the rest of the coding team has done, we're now past that we will have more than the previous 255 limit.
Yeah,
so
one of the things we pride ourselves with our engine is we always have this an engine that, more than most other games on the market, has a no limits type of mentality. I mean, there is no preset limit to the number of units you can have. There's no preset limits to the number of facilities you can build.
The length you can play.
The length you can play, and so on. So we've always had that there, except one hard limit that did exist is the number of players in the game. That was set, number of regions was set to 255. And so now we are able to, with the new engine, break that and blow that away. Unfortunately, we can't make it unlimited because of the type of data we store. Regions have relationships to other regions, and so that creates a sort of exponential growth in memory. But we do want to make it really high, and so we are actually having an internal debate about that number. If we're going to be targeting about 500 regions, so that you can have the Earth very
shattered.
Well shattered, yes, as it is becoming.
Based on some of our maps.
So when the real 2030 arrives and the world is in complete disarray and flaming dinosaurs are running down the streets, you can actually simulate that. But it also gives us the opportunity to go even further. If people want to mod and have even more fine-grained sort of simulations, to have about 1,000 is the limit. But there are drawbacks. The memory footprint of the game will increase, and from early testing there might be a performance decrease of about 5% percent or so of the game speed running. And so we have to take a look at those balances. We're actually looking to the community to see what their interests are in that. Is the possible larger memory footprint, maybe a little bit of performance, worth it if you would give them more flexibility in their modding?
So yeah, and that's the sort of things that we'd love to hear from you guys based on what we've shared about what's going on with the development. What are you excited about for Galactic Ruler? What are you hoping for Supreme Ruler Next Generation, which we'll have to make some decisions on at some point, and that sort of thing. And make sure that you keep watching for other videos. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We have a Discord channel. Our BG forums just got a facelift,
yes,
upgraded to a new version
because
we were much more green, and we had to update it. The style had it was no longer supported, and that sort of thing. So follow us on all the social media, and watch our next videos, and watch for further updates.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.